Building a bigger back is not as complicated as many people think. For me, I never had access for a pull-up bar for a long time, so my back compared to the rest of my physique was very underdeveloped. But in no time, I was able to build my back faster than my entire physique in that time. That's because I was able to apply these simple tips to build that large demon back to achieve that V-taper look we all want. Now, before I get into the tips, let's be real here. By applying these tips once ain't gonna get you a thick back fast, not even twice or even 3 times. It's about consistency and intensity. So if you're not putting the time or training like a baby, this ain't gonna matter. Now, for tip 1, know the basics. Everybody wants things fast, so they skip everything they think is useless and go straight into the cool looking exercises that they don't have enough strength to do so. That's because they skip the basics. Now, what are the basics? The basics to building a big back are the vertical and horizontal pulling movements. Things like pull-ups, chin-ups, Australian rows, and even outside of calisthenics, weighted exercises like barbell rows or any other horizontal rows are all basic movements that target the back. What exercises should I do then? Said viewer. Well, if I gave you a physique and made an outline of it, what muscles make the shape of the physique? If you said lats, you are correct. The lats are the biggest muscle of your back and gives you that defining outline. They're composed of the upper and lower lats. Exercises like pull-ups can target the upper lats and chin-ups can target the lower lats. But wait, the back isn't just lats. There's other muscle groups like the rear delts, traps, and the spinal erectors, or simply the upper, mid, and lower back. Well, the benefits of calisthenics is that certain exercises are able to target all muscle groups, but there are exercises that may have more emphasis. For example, Australian rows and archer rows target the mid-back, while Superman holds and reverse hypers can target the lower back. Now we know the basic exercises, but wait, are you doing these basic exercises correctly? Form is a major role when building a big back. The reason is because the back is a tricky muscle to target. If your form is incorrect, oftentimes you're going to be putting more emphasis on different muscles and are more prone to injury. People think, if I have a strong back, I will have good form, but rather, it's the opposite. A basic tip on form is to train with full range of motion, avoiding half reps. Another is to focus on scapular retraction and depression. For many pulling movements, you may be pulling only using your arm, but by engaging your scapula, you put more of the focus on your back. What if I don't have the strength, or I'm too heavy to do proper form? Well, that's simple. Do an easier variation of those exercises you can do to build strength to eventually do those exercises and practice good form on them. Now, onto the next tip. You should build other muscles other than your back. But wait. If I want to build a big back, why should I train other muscle groups? You are correct, you shouldn't be doing dips and expect your back to grow, but oftentimes a lot of people have weaker muscles in certain areas which give out before their back does. Now, what could I be talking about? Well, I'm talking about your grip and core. If you have a weak grip, whatever exercises you are doing is just going to be working your forearms rather than your back. So you can either get a stronger grip, change your grip style, or use lifting straps. Now, for calisthenics, lifting straps are basically useless, but grip styles can vary. For example, a supinated grip or chin-ups and a neutral grip, where your palms face each other, are all grips that can be easier for beginners, or if you have a weaker grip strength. But the best option is to handle it directly and just build a stronger grip. Because I think first, it's pretty cool to have a strong grip strength, and also it's a little goofy if you have big forearms but your grip's really weak. To build a stronger grip, exercises like dead hangs, farmer carries, plate pinches, towel pull-ups, or even a bucket of rice can all train your grip. Now I also mentioned core. By engaging your core, it allows you to do more pull-ups than if you didn't, and also influences good form. The reason is because by engaging your core, it enables stability and support. Now the best way to build a stronger core are static holds, so things like L-sits or planks are the best. The reason is because they engage your core the most. They also don't have the unnecessary movements that when doing a pull-up or any other exercise won't need. Now, for the second last tip, if you want to progress not just your back, but your entire physique, you want to progressively overload. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have heard the term progressive overload, but what exactly is progressive overload? Well, the human body is really good at adapting. So when we do something difficult like training, which makes micro tears in the muscle, the body will eventually get used to the difficulty if you train long enough, and it will come back stronger and bigger. So progressive overload is basically making training slightly more difficult to re-tear the muscle so it comes back stronger. The reason why so many gym goers plateau or don't see any back gains is because they're not progressively overloaded. So how do we apply that to our back gains? First, you can increase the volume. And no, not the volume of this video or the music, but the amount of reps and sets you are doing. For example, if you're starting with 3 sets of 8 reps, eventually progress to 10 or 12 reps. So, if progressive overload is basically upping the difficulty, you can also up the difficulty of your exercises. For example, you can start with pull-ups, then progress to archer pull-ups, and then eventually to one-arm pull-ups. This is to prevent you from doing hundreds of reps, which eventually will cause bad form, injuries, and will not train for significant muscle gain. And you can also add weight. Weighted pull-ups are also a cheat code to a big back, just so you know. But if you don't have weights, don't worry. You can just have a backpack filled with heavy items like books, or you can make your own weights using water jugs or cement. You want to progressively overload when you have at least good form with your exercise and have done your routine for at least 2 weeks. And finally, for the last tip, rest. You want to be able to recover because when muscle is actually being built is when you're resting. So aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep, eat well, stretch, and just be yourself.